So with that, a big welcome. Welcome to our COVID-19 Summit. This is a summit of best-selling authors sharing their secrets to help you figure out how you're going to get through this. We are facing a worldwide pandemic. When will you need help? Help for you to get through this is critical right now. It's the end of the world as we knew it. We're answering your call for help from specialists who are doctors, school superintendents. How fortunate are we? We're going to get the right information at the right time. Career, body and relationship, anxiety, family systems, trauma, holistic healers, special needs, and literally human design coaches who will show up when you need them. We have winning expertise to guide you through it and to guide you through the maze of Amazon boxes that are probably filling up your living room right now. We're fortunate to gather today in this illustrious Oprah Network studio. Well, I could dream, can't I? We had to schedule around the need for you to binge watch whatever your favorite shows are on Netflix. And no, we thought it would be super convenient if we actually live streamed conveniently to you right at home. What a surprise to find you at home. I actually do have 3 new friends. They're my 6 feet apart friends who I would never have met in my neighborhood if I hadn't been walking the dog, because we just now have new routines and schedules that we didn't have. This is so hard on all of us. We thought, let's make one thing, just one thing easy and bring all of this expertise to you. It all starts here in your new home gym, in your new entertainment center. I mean, your new shared workspace, shared with your kids and your spouse and whoever else you're sheltering in place with. How are you? Typically, we might answer fine, but in reality, you might answer scared, uncertain, lonely, exhausted. Plans, your kids' graduation, they're getting gypped. Your life celebrations, your friends, your temper, your figure, your savings, your health, your friends, your family, your spouse, your kids, maybe even all of it. How much do you miss your life? Everything has changed. So how do you prepare to shelter in place? A short time ago, the world was as we knew it, and the biggest challenges were getting the Starbucks coffee order just right. Planning a date, parents' night out, schools events, sporting events, a party, a holiday, enjoying being judgy about superficial nonsense. What a luxury. Now we have no drill for pandemics, no guide or practice to help us figure this out, and how to shop for extended days at home, stressed out with all the other routine issues we face, layered with working from home, schooling from home, without a reprieve, constant responsibility. How long will this last? Who will outlast it? How are you supposed to outlast it when you're busy taking care of everything and everyone? Who is taking care of you? We have Janet Farnsworth here today to help us as a body wellness coach. Janet, what ideas and suggestions and support can you provide us?
Thank you. My experience right now, just as I'm sitting here listening to you, is I'm actually trying to navigate a computer issue. I'm trying to navigate an internet issue and a Facebook issue and figuring out like what my colleagues are doing. And this is a time in which there are 17 things happening at the same time. And how, in God's name, do we know how to do what when? It reminds me of when I was first a mother, and I remember the first time I flossed, nursed, and went to the bathroom at the same time. We are magic multitaskers. But what happens when we multitask is that we often prioritize ourselves last. We don't take care of this. And so I'd like to start this webinar, even when you're sitting here with 19 different questions about how you homeschool, how you figure out how to keep your 3-year-old and your 12-year-old from being at each other or making each other and yourself crazy. I want to invite you just for around 5 minutes to pause. Because you may be inside your home feeling like you can't get out. But guess what? You are always inside of you. And you experience yourself in a very real way in your body. And so I want to start right now your toolkit of this whole practice by pausing. The amygdala and the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems do not have eyes. We do not know by telling the mind everything is okay. Those technologies in you that know that they're safe and okay cannot be talked to. They need to physically experience the exhale. So when you exhale, you are actually telling your physiology that it's safe to breathe. Because when you are in an emergency situation, the first thing you do is hold your breath. When a car comes barreling towards the street, you don't breathe out. So right now, I want to invite you to just let a little bit of air out. And when you exhale, you may find that there's then a little bit of room to take that inhale that you all hear about down into your belly, into your back, all the way up into your armpits and teeth. Maybe hold it just for a moment. And then let your exhale be complete. Either like a kind of cannonball, or maybe a deliberate. So when you exhale, perhaps you imagine that you're blowing out through the letter O with your lips, or maybe even through a straw, but be deliberate with your exhale. Yeah. Oh my God. Just doing that suddenly makes me feel like it doesn't matter what's happening to the internet. It doesn't matter what's happening. As a practical matter, something also that addresses your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system is if you actually bring your own hands to your own face. Where the heels of your hands are at your chin, your temples are at your brow, and maybe you can even feel the corners of your lips. And then you take that big inhale through the nose. And when you exhale, you blow out through that letter O, through the straw. Yeah. As a therapist or practitioner, I feel like it would be a valuable use of my 5 times to just do that together. But I want you to know that that's tip number 1. Exhale. Self-touch of the face. Take care of you first. And here's another piece of that, my darlings. It's not just your breath, it's your whole body. That when you are physically uncomfortable, this is not a time about exercising to look good or toned. It never is, actually, in my world. It's about practicing self-care and being in the self that you are in all the time, which is this biology. I call it your extraordinary, ordinary biology. And wherever you are, I want to invite you maybe to stand. I'm broadcasting, or I'm talking to you from my kitchen because I know as a mother, that's usually where I am. And I want you to know that wherever you are, whether or not you have kids around you, I'm going to share with you, actually, I didn't know if I was going to do this or not, but this is actually another breathing technique that I shared when I used to teach in jail. And All of my guys and gals love this one. So believe it or not, this is also useful for your parasympathetic nervous system. And I invite, if there are kids around watching this, join. So here we go. You're going to bring your legs out wide, soften and bend your knees so you can feel yourself on the ground. You're going to use your arms to pump that breath. A big inhale up, and then a big inhale out, and then a big inhale up, and then you're going to exhale. You're going to throw your arms down through your legs of the sound. So it goes like this. It goes inhale, inhale, inhale. Yeah, actually do it. Inhale, inhale, and then exhale. Good. Make some noise. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Throw the air out. One more. Inhale, high. Inhale, out. Inhale, up. Inhale, out and down. Good. And then just come to stand for a moment. And if you feel a little bit goofy, or you feel like it's not necessary to do that because you're too busy, that's the practice that I want to invite you into. I want to invite you into a 5-minute practice of taking care of the actual house that you are in, no matter what room you're in, no matter what and who is around you. This, my darlings, your body. This is the house that you are stuck in. So I want you to learn how to love on that. 1 more minute. Take your counter. Take your chair, bring your hands to it. You're going to walk your feet back until your feet are underneath your hips. And then you're going to let your whole chest just melt to the ground. The closer your ankles are under your hips and towards your hands, the bigger the stretch you're going to get all the way through the back body. And then let your chest melt to the ground. If you got a dog underneath you, say hello, kiss your kid's head, start to stretch and open the back body. Let the knees soften. Walk your feet forward and then just come back to where you were. Let your hand rest on the counter. Do this, my loves. You are worth it. 2 minutes. As you push down through the feet, take your right arm all the way up overhead and then stretch all the way to the side. Soften your elbow. Bring your elbow behind you and your heart forward and up, and then maybe really straighten your arms. Good. Take a big inhale, lift up off your low back, and then you're going to come turn around or find the other counter, and then lift that left arm all the way up high, and then take a stretch. Imagine that there's one of those weightlifter belts under or around your belly, and then soften this elbow. Let it roll behind your head, and then keep the belly in as you stretch the side body. Inhale straight up. Bring your right arm up to meet it, and then take a moment. I just want you to climb up. Keep reaching your left and then right fingers higher up to the sky. Hang for a moment. Let your fingers curl on that highest monkey bar. Feel the side body open. And then do an inhale. Big inhale. Exhale, keep the side bodies long. Let your arms just open wide like wings, and then come down to your sides again. Take a moment, just be as you are. Maybe your heart rate is up, maybe you feel a little flush, a little blood flow. And just breathe. Just breathe. When you stand or when you have your feet on the earth and the knees are a little bit soft, there's an anchoring in and down. There's so much going on around you. There's so much that the head wants to constantly be navigated and thinking and planning and figuring out. Body first. You first. You got to put that oxygen mask on first. 5 minutes. That's the practice of self-care. That's what I got. I would love to stay in this playground with you the whole time, but that's my sharing for parenting in this time of crazy chaos.
Thank you, Janet. How does someone get a hold of you?
Yeah, my name, Janet Farnsworth. You can just come to my website. I'd love to send you a copy of my book, Love Your Body. And I'll put my information on the chat too.
Excellent. Thank you. That's a really good way to start. And I know there's so much when we wake up in the morning and what goes to our head of the volume of our to-do list of things that need to get done. It's so easy to forget self-care. So thank you for taking us home in our bodies, as well as home and in our hearts and in our homes. Next, we have Robin Winn, a human design coach and trainer. When the kids went off to school, at least you had a little bit of a reprieve. Now, if you can even get a cup of coffee and 5 seconds to yourself, like who in the chat room was talking about Felicity, you were saying you have a 5 and an 8-year-old. When was the last time you got to go to the bathroom alone? The reality is you think you know anything about parenting, and then you have another kid. And then you think you know anything about your kids, and they go through a whole new developmental stage, and they give you a whole new set of challenges to figure out and the obstacles to overcome. So these are things that are happening in your family regardless of what's happening outside and in the whole big world. And as these developmental stages get bigger, and I mean, I have teenagers now, so you know, there's pimples and hormones, or worse, they say you're not the boss of them. When everyone knows full well you are the boss of them, and you're just letting them boss you around. Why doesn't anyone listen to you? Your way's fun. And then they top it off with the eyeball roll. Such a small gesture, and it means so much. They don't have their friends to blow off steam with right now, and it's really hard to be their friend when they're bored. And it's suddenly your job to be their full-time teacher, their entertainer, their house hygienist, on top of your work and everything else you're doing, and they give you the eyeball roll. So Robin, knowing your kid's human design, how does human design help us? What is human design, and why use it now?
Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, so we're in an unprecedented time. We're all in agreement on that. We're going through an initiation, actually, at some level, not unlike when you had your first child and the world turned and everything was different than it ever was before. I love how Janet, put the oxygen mask on, started this panel with that, this webinar. We are crazy right now. Maybe you're home with your children for the first time. You work outside of your home. Your husband works outside of your home. Maybe suddenly you're all together, and you're having to be with your kids in a way you're not getting a break from, right? And it's really easy to have the whole family system devolve in this situation. That would be an easy path to take. And as parents, of course, the most important thing is having a healthy family. And it's being challenged at this time, right? So how do we take this time and upgrade it? How do we organize around something higher? Now, human design is something that I was a therapist for 25 years, and then I discovered human design. And it's a system of, it's called the new astrology. It's a tool really to help understand who you are, who your kids are, who your family is, and give you an opportunity to respond to them differently, help them, support them in being who they are. And again, I think Michelle was talking about it, there's a regression that's happening here with a lot of kids, and you're seeing behaviors that are challenging. And, you want your kids to be different than they are in this situation, perhaps. So how are we going to stabilize in the chaos? Well, you already have this parentship that you've navigated numerous crises, right? Special needs parents, I think, have even a more advanced, maybe, parentship to navigate crises. So one thing is to know who your child is. If you're projecting on your child, if you're thinking your child should be different than they are, there's going to be a war, there's going to be a problem. So how do we how do we open to who our children are? How do we understand ourselves and our children and what they need at this time? How do we stabilize in the chaos? So human design is a system that uses yours and your child's birth date, time, and place, and it creates a map, like a manual for who your child is and who you are. So in this system, there's the understanding that we're all one big piece of a giant puzzle, and each person is perfectly designed. Your child is perfectly designed. You're perfectly designed. So what is that design? Who are you? Who are you showing up in this crisis? Are you a projector? There's 5 major puzzle pieces. Are you a projector that really needs space away, that doesn't have sustainable energy, that's really challenged by this time? Are you a manifesting generator who's got capacity to multitask and do lots of things, and this is like you're cooking in this? Do you have a child who's a manifester, who's pressing on you, initiating, impacting you? If you understand that that's their design, then you can support them in that without taking it personally or thinking they should be doing it differently. So really the challenge here, I'm sorry?
Can you share with us how we would work with our partner or children? And does it work with everybody?
Yeah, so I'll use you for a second, Michelle, because I did your chart, right? And your kids, and Michelle's a projector, right? So for you, being at home, it kind of works. There's something that works for it, right? Projectors tend to do well without they're not the big doers in the world, right? They tend to be more the guides, the watchers. Whereas your son is manifesting generator. You need to make sure he's got activity going all the time. You need to make sure he's engaged. Your daughter, not so much. It's a little different, right?
You're totally right. You're totally right on.
So if you've got a kid that needs activity, you need to be giving them things. I mean, this sounds so obvious on the one hand. On the other hand, we're different. Each one of us is different. And how do we value each other's differences and support each other's differences? If you have a child who has a lot of openness in their chart, they're going to be taking in the traumas of the world, the fears of the world, the emotions of the world, and amplifying them. You're going to want to be supporting them with that and helping them understand what's theirs and what's not theirs, for yourself as well. And yes, this works for everybody. This system was actually designed to help parents parent their children so that your children could thrive. But again, you have to have your mask on first. You have to know, how do you best operate? And then how can you support your children to best operate?
Robin, thank you. It's so amazing because I think about the words that you shared with me with my kids. So when I can feel the tension rise, I think of what your advice is, and that actually gives me tools to support how I'm going to approach, a challenging situation with the kids. Whereas, instead of getting emotionally involved in whatever the drama is, I can take a step back, exhale, as Janet taught us, and go, I know why you're behaving this way, and I know how to support you best. So beautiful. Thank you for providing that incredible guidance for everyone. How do people get a hold of you, Robin?
Yeah, I'm going to put in the chat my book, my free book, Understanding Your Clients Through Human Design. I wrote a book for therapists and coaches to help them with their clients, but it will help you with your children. And if you want to get your chart done, you can email me, or you can go to freehumandesignchart.com.
Thank you. Actually, that reminds me to tell you, everyone who's listening, as a gift for listening, we've got resources and tools for you that are going to help you through all of this in a safe, secure, and calm way. So stay tuned, and because you registered to participate in this, you'll receive links to all of these experts, including the superintendents, the doctors, Robin with human design, Janet, And Kathy Milburn, the special needs parenting coach, is next. So if you didn't register and you'd love to have access to this, you can just click the link and register now, and we will send it to you. So as parents, you listen to the most current statistics about how more and more people are becoming ill and dying, and fewer resources are available, including your own hard-earned efforts. You're worried about your future, your job, and the questions in your head don't stop. The woman who used to help us clean the house, she texted me the other day and said she's working remotely, and she let me know when I need to scrub first. I'm like, unbelievable. I was thinking maybe she should text the kids, but we haven't set that up. Add to that the way your spouse and kids have somehow asked you that one question too many while you're trying to get a report done for your boss. And you hear the yell for the GPS coordinates to find the leftovers in the fridge on the second shelf in the back in front of the mustard. And it's suddenly the one question that just pushes you over the edge. And especially if you've got kids who really need hands-on support. How do you not get caught up in all the cycling worries going on in your head and focus on anything, let alone everything? Kathy Milburn, will you take a moment to help us? As much as you may feel lonely, you're not alone with a special needs parenting coach like Kathy. Take yourself off mute, Kathy. There we go.
See, I'm learning too.
Yeah. We're on this together.
Absolutely. And we're all just figuring it out. My name is Kathy Milburn. Thank you, Michelle. I do work with parents of special needs children, and I also work with women in general to navigate life's changes to become the best they can be. What I really wanted to share with everyone today is that we're all just figuring this out. Please, please, please give yourself a break. Be gentle to yourself. As a wife, as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a teacher, I feel everything that you all are going through. And I want to just share with you, please, to give yourselves a moment of congratulations that you've made it this far. We're in a crisis. No one's done this before. We're all creating a brand new life. We don't know how it's going to go. And a shout out here to special needs parents, because they're the ones in the world who already know how to do that. We live in a world of uncertainty. We don't know how it's going to go. It's just the way we have to deal with every day. Now, we add to that the fact that our kids are home. Special needs parents have a special a gift, but they have a little bit more to navigate. When we send our kids off to school or out for the day, they're met with a wonderful team. They don't have one or two teachers. They have teachers and therapists and counselors and physical therapists. They have so many supports that now mom at home is having to fill. I sat with my daughter the other day and we were learning online. And what I recognized for her and what I want to tell you, Mom, this is why it is so hard. You are learning not only how to navigate this yourself, but you are leading your child through how to have a schedule at home, how to learn the software that has to be managed, how to get onto the software, how to do homework this way, how to learn this way, and how to navigate living in a world that there's a lot of fear out there. There's so much fear. So I just have a couple quick tips because I'm conscious of your time, mamas. I have a little thing called Reset, just to help you remember how to take care of yourself. First, remember you're most important. Please, if you're the cog, you're the center of the wheel. If you go down, the world falls apart. Eat right. The vacation's over. We're done. We're in the throes of, this is going to be a long term, so please make every bite nutritious. Drink plenty of water. I know the wine and the power drinks and the coffee are pretty tempting, and it's okay. Do it, but just remember Slip all that good stuff in there when you can. S, get your sleep. Get your sleep. 6 to 8 hours, whatever your magic number is. I know you're a mama and it's tough. Do what you can do, but focus on getting your rest. Turn the screens off. Yep, I'm there too. E, exercise. Get some exercise, move your body, even if it's stretching, doing some of those things Janet just showed us. Get outside, walk, breathe fresh air. And T, take time for you, connect with your friends, do something that's fueling for yourself, that is nurturing just for you. 5 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever you can do, reach out to a friend, connect, what have you. So those are the practical things, the reset, R-E-S-E-T. From an energetic perspective, I just want to share this with you. This is temporary. This is a shift in our planet. We've all known, we've been feeling it, that the forces that have been pushing behind us, that there is going to be a change in the world. Well, let's face it, people aren't going to change when they're in the warm bath. They're going to stay there. It's comfortable. We needed a big shift, and it had to be a little forceful for us to pay attention. So that's all this is. And it's not going to last forever. We are in the beginning, and it's moving us all to become better people. I feel like Mother Earth is holding us right now. I feel like just as you hold your darling child and you allow them in that moment of crisis that they have to just let it out and feel their emotions, I feel that Mother Earth is doing that for us right now, allowing us all to just take a moment and go inside and feel those feelings, that sadness, those emotions that we have that we haven't allowed ourselves to experience, and to really grieve and to feel what doesn't work for us anymore. So once, please just be gentle with yourself, feel those things, and as you move forward, know that there's some things that you may want to change. This is that beautiful opportunity. So I thank you all for giving me a chance to share. I love you all. You're doing a great job. Be easy on yourselves.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kathy. It's so wonderful to be reminded that Mother Earth is embracing us as we are part of our universe. And even as we are going through such trying times, we get through them because, as you were saying, this is temporary and we are all in this together and we have each other to support each other. If you're just joining us now live, welcome to our COVID-19 Wellness Summit. We have 10 best-selling authors, experts, superintendents, doctors, human design experts, and we've all come together to help you in a crisis at the moment when you need it. We're here, and at the end of this webinar, you have the opportunity, if you haven't already, to register, and you will have access to these panelists and these coaches to help you right in your area of expertise where you need it the most right now. So if you haven't registered, go ahead and you can register now. And if you have registered, we will reach out to you so that you can align yourself with the people who you resonate with the most and connect in that way. We've spoken with Janet Farnsworth, who's a body wellness coach, reminding us to exhale and touch our faces and breathe and be in our bodies even more so than we are in our homes. We spoke with Winn, human design coach, who's telling us that based on how and who we are in the world, it's sort of the love language of how to connect with our spouses and our children in a way that they best understand. Kathy Milburn, the special needs coach, reminds us that we are being embraced and this is temporary. Dr. Tonya Crombie is an anxiety coach, and I really can't imagine any of us are going through this without any anxiety. Teaching us how to model anxiety and management techniques for our kids. When my children were very, very small, I admired breathtaking showcases of original artwork in one of my friends' home. And that evening in my home, things went quiet, which is cause for alarm when you have small children in the house. My breath was also taken away by the original masterpiece my child had inspired all over our freshly painted walls. I too had original artwork in my home. The true art, in this case, was the art of patience and parenting and the appreciation for the inspiration. And that was the beginning of a new mantra in our house: paper only. Now the kids, it's like they can draw on their screens only. So art takes many forms for all of us to enjoy. Dr. Tonya, how do you help us model anxiety management techniques for our kids?
Well, right now, obviously it's a tough time and we're all struggling a little bit. You know, everyone has so beautifully described what's going on and how we're all feeling. Because I work with parents of anxious kids and speaking to a lot of parents who have anxious kids all the time, I'm hearing something very interesting, what is a little silver lining in all of this, which is that the anxious kids, a lot of them are doing great. A lot of them are feeling better than they felt in a long time. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, we had kids with social anxiety. Well, they don't have to go out in the world anymore. We have our kids who had performance anxiety. Are they going to do well at baseball? Are they going to be okay at the basketball game? How are they going to perform at the dance class or swim lessons? Well, they're not doing that. So a huge weight has been lifted off of those kids' shoulders. Kids that were struggling with, you know, feeling like they were excluded or left out, those birthday parties aren't happening. So a lot of the stuff that was making our kids anxious has gone away. So I want to start with that because there is a slight bit of good news, and people are actually, I'm seeing it, I've been hearing about it for a couple now pop up in popular media about this is the reset our kids needed. And for a lot of our kids, that's absolutely what it is. It's a reset our kids needed. So that's the good news. The bad news right now is that while our kids are not doing too badly for the most part, I mean, they're bored, they are fighting with their siblings, they're doing the stuff kids do in their home, but for the anxiety stuff has gone way, way, way down. That's awesome. But the anxiety among parents has gone way, way, way up. So we're the ones who are struggling right now. And what I am telling my clients right now and anybody else who is feeling stressed is this is an opportunity to, one, there's a bunch of opportunities we've got as parents. So one, we're going to say to our kids, I feel it too. It's normal. It's okay. And even mom feels this way. Even dad feels this way. Felicity was talking in the chat about she's had a bunch of challenges with a husband in the military. She's at home with the kids. And I hear you, Felicity. I was specifically thinking about you as I was thinking about this. Like, you know, it's okay to let the kids know that you're struggling because we're human, and kids, it's okay for them to know, you know, that mom struggles too. Anxiety is a normal thing. All people feel it sometime. We also get to say, this is something that helps me feel better, and do it with the kids. Say like, you know what, I know we're trying to do math, but your math is really stressing me out. I have to say this to my kids all the time because their math, they're both teenagers. I don't know what they're doing anymore. So your math is really stressing out. Let's take a minute. And you know what I'm going to do next time? I'm going to do what Janet did at the beginning of this. I'm going to the breathing, let's stretch our backs, let's stretch our sides. I mean, that was something, that's exactly the kind of stuff. Let's just take 2 minutes. Let's breathe for a second and let's get back into our bodies. And now we'll go back to this math that's stressing me out. So what I just did in that example with my kid is I showed him it's normal. I showed him I understand them. I modeled some behavior. I probably taught them something because they learned these new moves that Janet just showed us. And what I find because I am a parent of an anxious kid, if you have your kids struggle from anxiety, I know exactly what you're dealing with. When they are really anxious, you can't teach them. They will not listen. If you say, okay, let's breathe now, it doesn't happen. But if you're teaching them while they're feeling pretty good and you're saying, hey, this is something that helps me, then when they feel anxious, and they will, they have some new tools. So try all kinds of new stuff. When you're feeling anxious, try the breath, try meditation, try yoga, try dance parties. Dance parties are awesome, relieving stress and anxiety. Let's get up and let's do a quick 5-minute dance party before we try to tackle any more of that algebra. And then they're going to remember, oh, you know what? When my mom was stressed, she'd had a dance party. I'm going to have a dance party right now and just see if it helps. So that's what I'm in people right now. And I hope that's helpful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Tonya Crombie, giving us ideas on how to model for our anxious kids, because although they may not be feeling it, we parents certainly are. I think I was saying earlier that we've tried to put structure in place for our day with intellectual or educational pursuits and downtime, playtime. And in our house, it's called Forced Family Fun. And we've taken the boxes from that we've gotten from Amazon and done mazes. We've also done like Pee-wee golf, and the ultimate hole was throwing salami for the dog to catch. We've done dog tricks, dance parties, like you said, and we kind of make special events each evening so that we've got something to look forward to, because never in history have we had the technology to share information so quickly to preserve the human race as a species. Please stop yelling at your kids to reduce their screen time. Really, we were being told no screen time, less screen time, and now it's like, just go for it on the screen time. We really need time together, IRL, in real life too. Thank goodness for Sal Khan from Khan Academy for providing reliable resources to teach me how to do higher level math like 5 seconds before the kids needed me to teach them, so that they didn't really know that I didn't remember how to do it. And yeah, you may have been good with the whole bring your kid to work day, but this bring your kid home from school day or week or an extended period of time has a whole new set of complications that go along with it. We have the opportunity to speak with Dr. Donna Marie Cozine, who's a superintendent and educational leader. Now, as parents, you're expected to magically have a teaching credential, know how to do long division, compare, contrast essays at your TikTok, and about which is better, Instagram or Snapchat, all while you have your own concerns for your elementary school, junior high, and high school kids. Dr. Cozine, can you help us understand what schools are expecting of us as parents, and how do we set up a homeschool?
Thanks, Michelle. First, a shout out to all of the presenters on the panel. I'm taking copious notes of what I need to do differently. The reset really reset me, because I haven't done any of those things well. I'm so pleased to be here with you today to speak with you not only as the superintendent of my organization, but also as a mom. The first thing I believe that your school expects of you is to just monitor and facilitate your students' work. You are not teachers. This is not really a homeschool environment. This is more a distance learning environment. And the school, what we really need from parents is for you to communicate with us what difficulties you're having accessing the online virtual platforms, or what difficulties your students are having. This is unprecedented for all of us. My school is not a virtual online school, and we took it from our students left Friday, and on Monday we were up as a full 100% virtual academy. So it happened very quickly, and we're always looking, as are all organizations who are facing this, are looking at how we can fix it. So please communicate with your schools. One thing that I've been struggling with myself, because I'm still running my organization from my dining room, is how can I manage my child's work while getting my own work done? So I just have a couple of tips for you. It is so difficult to juggle all of these things. The very first thing is you need to make sure that your superior, your supervisor knows what you're experiencing at home. There needs to be flexibility provided to you by your own company or corporation, whomever you're working for, because things are completely different. Create a schedule with check-ins with your children. Have breakfast and lunch together at the same time every day, and set moderate goals. This is not the time to think that your children are home, so you're going to go through the basement, you're going to get all the online stuff done, you're going to have your laundry done and put away every day. That's not going to happen. We can't do it all. There's no secret. The secret is moderation. Use some of these techniques that my other panelists have shared with you, and know that we are all getting through this one day at a time. I am in New York. Angela is one of my parents. I'm so glad she's on here today. And we don't know what's going to happen. We're definitely closed through April 15th, likely the end of the month, maybe the end of the year, we don't know. Every day is a new normal. So I ask you to just do the best you can, communicate with your school. And if your children are not getting their work done every day, it's okay. Breathe through it. Give yourself grace, give your children grace, and know that this too shall pass. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Cozine. So valuable to have the superintendent actually help us figure out how to set up and what are the expectations of being parents while we're teaching at home. Smooth transition, we have Megan Day, who's a career and life coach. You might think maternity leave is all parks and picnics and cooing babies. Then you go through pregnancy and caring for a new baby and yourself after delivering a baby, and the expectations of what you're supposed to suddenly be able to accomplish on zero sleep. It's just unbelievable. And I know one of our attendees is saying that she had different expectations of what her maternity leave was going to be like and what she has to look forward to when she has her new baby in her arms. And I know that Megan's gonna help you with that, because when you add the decision to work again and it feels like there is literally no outside support, now with remote working conditions and you have an understanding of what your colleagues and bosses' living rooms and dining rooms look like, and while you in your back of your mind are like, yeah, I got dishes in the sink and toys all over the place, the pressure cooker is on under the best of circumstances. So Megan, what do you recommend during a world crisis? What are working moms worried about right now when it comes to their careers?
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for welcoming me on here. I'm really excited to be here today. And, you know, I want to thank all the panelists because all of the information has been so helpful so far. Things are different right now for working moms. We thought we had it hard to begin with. Now we have so many other expectations going on, and we're all kind of wondering, how are we going to get any of our work done? How's this even going to play out? And there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure to do homeschooling. There's a lot of pressure to be successful still in your career and to meet the expectations of all of the people in your life. And so that's really one of the things that I wanted to speak about is expectations. I know some of the panelists have touched on this already, but when you think about it, whose expectations do we have? We have our own expectations, which are likely very high. Often we set very high expectations for ourselves, how much work we're going to get done, what our appearance is like, what we're going to achieve in the workplace. Then there's your partner's expectations. So you may have a partner working from home with you as well. And they also have bosses and things like that and deadlines on them. So trying to manage those expectations. Speaking of your boss, what is expected of you in the workplace, or if you work for yourself, what kinds of contracts do you have to complete, or what client fulfillment activities do you have to get finished? And then your kids too, the expectations of your kids. I don't know about you, but I have 2 tiny dictators at home. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they're very vocal about their needs. And so their expectations need to be managed. And how can you do that? So when we talk about expectations and managing expectations, it really all comes down to communication. So communicating your needs and figuring out what your needs are, and having those conversations. And so I wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit today, preparing for having these conversations that are oftentimes in this situation more like negotiations. And I've had a few of those in my own household. And so I want to kind of touch on that. So the advice that I would give there is getting clear about what your needs are first. So before you go into any of these heated conversations or potentially heated conversations, you need to get clear about what are your expectations and what are your needs. And so the first activity I would really suggest, and I find it really helpful in my day-to-day life, is sitting down with a pen and paper and, writing at the top of the page, what do I need right now? Because it's going to change day to day. Like you said, Michelle, like we're living day to day. And so doing this frequently so that you can touch in with yourself and figure out what you need. You might be surprised. What you might need is your boss to kind of lay off or back off a little bit. Or maybe what you need is like 5 minutes to yourself to have a bath. So you might be surprised as to what comes out from this exercise. So I recommend writing that question at the top of your page. What do I need right now? Sit down somewhere quiet if you can find a place. If you have to, put the kids in front of the TV for a few minutes. I mean, this only lasts 5 to 10 minutes. So sit down 5 to 10 minutes and just automatic writing. So writing without lifting your pen off the paper. And the reason you have to do it for 5 to 10 minutes at least is because you'll start off writing out all of the technical details, the stuff that's from your left brain. You're going to write out like your shopping list and stuff, right? You're going to write out the things that, like, what do I need? Well, I need a shower, like all those kinds of things. But then after a while, it will go into flow. Like your writing will go into a flow, and you'll start to write out the things that you deep down actually need that are going to make a big difference to you. So your brain will kind of shift over to the right brain, and all of those creative things will start to come out. So that would be my first tip, is to kind of sit down with yourself for a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and just journal out, what do I need right now? And then the next tip that I would have for having these conversations is setting an intention for your conversation. So if you're sitting down with your partner, your intention might be, I intend to get my needs communicated in a clear and mutually respectful way. So that might be your intention going into your conversation. So kind of setting that conversation intention before you sit down with the person. If you're having a conversation with your boss, maybe it's, I intend to get project A off my to-do list. So you might have to actually negotiate what your work is right now. I have a client that's watching her 3-year-old during the day, because I'm a coach. So I'm working with a woman that's kind of working on her career path right now. But we're in the middle of our engagement. We worked together for 3 months, and COVID-19 happened right in the middle. So things have drastically changed, even a matter of a few weeks. And so now she has her 3-year-old son home with her, and she's working in her day job until like 1 a.m. and having Zoom calls with her boss at 1 a.m. And so, I've coached her about having this conversation with her boss and trying to figure out, because she's not going to be able to maintain that schedule forever. So, that's what I would recommend right now. Those are a couple of tips I have for having these conversations that could potentially be difficult, but if you go into them with intention and understanding of what your needs are and what you would like to have met or need to have met, then you're kind of going into these conversations rather than having a blow up and then having to clean it up later. So having to do repair later. So going in and setting that up. And then finally, the last thing I wanted to just mention is that, this is temporary. So if you can adopt a mantra in your life that, this will not last forever, this is not forever. I just listened to an awesome podcast that's meant for kids and it teaches mindfulness. It's called the Like You podcast. And there's an episode that was just released and it's all about this mantra and having kids get in on that as well. Understanding that this is not permanent. Nothing is permanent.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Megan. You're right. It's really important for us to get out of our left brains long enough to figure things out as we journal and set the intention and realize that this is temporary and we can get through this together. I've got a client who says, your hindsight gives me foresight. I love that. I love that. I also have a client who's told her daughter that she's going to, an elementary school daughter, she's going to night school now to handle exactly the situation that you're facing with your client. And
Yep.
I wonder if we can take advantage for those of you who are live and here and now, why don't you take advantage of this opportunity to share with us where you're from and some of the challenges that you're facing right now. And if you're feeling a connection with one of these experts, you can connect right here now, live through the chat, and we can get that going. Because even when you're used to being able to take care of everything, the world has turned upside down. And it's hard to figure out priorities. Take care of the kids. Yeah, screen time works sometimes. How do you put a healthy meal on the table? And does 2-day-old pizza count? Tempers are short and it's hard to figure out what to worry about now because everything seems so important and there is so much to figure out. Where do we even start? And it's so hard to do. And why are our friends telling us we need to put our jeans on again to see if they still fit? When the biggest question is there any way to make even one thing simple to help keep your family safe? Dr. Asha Pai Bohannon is a holistic health guide. Dr. Bohannon, can you help us remind us why self-care is so important at this time, and how do we fit it in with all the other things that we feel are a priority that are calling us louder than ourselves?
Yeah, thank you so much, Michelle. I'm so excited to be here on the panel with all these amazing people. We've talked a lot about self-care, but I wanted to start out by saying, I think somebody mentioned we don't even know what day it is sometimes. So I just wanted to welcome everybody to the month because it is now April. So just everybody be aware that we're in April, and actually what a timely month because it is actually Stress Awareness Month. And we are going through a very stressful, uncertain time right now. But let's back up for a second and be honest. We've lived a really stressful lives for a long time. And what I have been finding more common and more and more common right now is I'm actually connecting with a lot more people virtually. And there's this common theme that people are saying, yes, I'm stressed, but of course that's normal. And so somewhere along the way, stress has become normal to us. And so kind of what I wanted to share today was a lot about kind of the science behind why we need to talk about self-care. Why do we talk about self-care so much? And then we'll talk a little bit about some ways to fit that in. So there are two different types of stress. There's acute stress and there's chronic stress. Acute stress is really necessary. It builds up a whole bunch of hormones in our body. The most common and famous one is cortisol. And it's the way our body responds to a situation. So back in old caveman days, it was being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. And it's a way for insulin production to kind of slow down so we have more glucose or fuel to be able to get through that situation. In more present times, it could be anything from doing a presentation, or it could be doing the algebra homework for your children. And those are specific moments, but what's going on is not this acute stress. It's become chronic. And when chronic stress happens, it builds up all sorts of chronic inflammation in our body. And it's through this surge and constant surge of cortisol through our ever stressed, ever fast paced lifestyle that we have been accustomed to. And so I want to talk about self-care from the standpoint that now we're forced to kind of slow down our lifestyles a little bit. We're not having to run here, there, and everywhere. We're not having to stop and go and pick up snacks for this game or that game, or, you know, all those different things that we were doing. So chronic cortisol actually can do so much damage. So what is chronic inflammation? It can cause insulin resistance. It can cause weight gain. It can cause immune system suppression, GI problems. So why does all that matter? Like right now, when we're in COVID-19, the last thing we want is immune system suppression. We want to be able to build that and boost that as much as we can. So self-care being what it is, it's a time for our bodies, much like Janet was talking about at the beginning and everybody else has been talking about. It's our time to give us 5 to 10 minutes whenever we need it to calm down that sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. And it gives us a chance just to breathe into it and start over. I know it's difficult. I have 2 little boys that are 9 and 6 that are constant go, go, go. And it has been very difficult, but literally we have instilled a 5-second rule in our household. If you start to get anxious, any of us, we are doing what Tonya was saying, just saying, hey, let's calm down. We're going to take 5 seconds and we're going to breathe together. What else does that look like? That means as a mom, as a parent, if you're a dad out there that's watching this, we need to take 5 to 10 minutes to do something we like every single day. So we have a big Post-it note on our walls of things that we like to do. Each one of us have done. And it's a list. So it's picking 1 or 2 of those things that we will do every single day. I love gratitude journaling. I love yoga and meditation, gardening, getting outside and playing basketball, whatever it looks like for you, for your children. Pick 1 or 2 things and make it happen every single day, because that is going to calm our systems down. Along with self-care, me being I'm a pharmacist, and so I'm also a holistic pharmacist. So I look a lot at supplements and what we can do to kind of build our immune system up. But my first advice is, if you are getting ready to take any supplements, make sure you talk to a healthcare practitioner. And if you've never done it before, start low and go slow as you increase how much you're taking. But the first one that I wanted to talk about is elderberry. Elderberry is kind of a buzz one that everybody's talking about. It is packed full of nutrients, antioxidants, and is a great anti-inflammatory as well. Another one is all about this chronic inflammation. And this is something that literally everything that I'm sharing with you today is something that my entire family is doing. But we use something called curcumin, or kind of commonly known as turmeric. You want to look for something with turmeric that is combined with black pepper extract, because it helps your body absorb the turmeric better, which is a very, very potent anti-inflammatory. We use a liquid brand that is orange flavored. My kids actually ask to use it and to take it every single day. And it just tastes really good. And it gets into your body a little bit better. And then we also, my husband and I, started doing kind of a golden milk drink. So it's in powder form with turmeric, black pepper, and another great herb called ashwagandha root that actually helps decrease anxiety and stress, helps kind of decrease or keep blood sugar levels at bay, as well as decreasing cortisol levels over time. So that's just another great way throughout the day to kind of calm your nervous system down. It's to be mindful and get into that little moment of, let me just take a minute and have this drink, or take this and enjoy it. Obviously, there's a great vitamins like vitamin C, zinc, vitamin D that we can be doing and increasing that. Vitamin D, best way right now to get that, if you're in a place where the weather is gorgeous outside, is get out for 15 to 20 minutes with your kids, play around, do a dance party outside, whatever that looks like. Nobody's judging right now because we're all doing the same thing, and enjoy that time in the sun. But last, I wanted to kind of share about your GI system, because that is where 70% of the cells of our immune system is located. So taking a very good quality probiotic right now during this time and all year long can actually help our immune systems get boosted by putting good bacteria in and helping us get rid of the bad bacteria and the processed foods and stress, the chronic inflammation that we've been doing to ourselves for so long. So I want to take it real quick back to the time of stress that we're in. Remember that good self-care, there's great immune boosting things out there, but I want to end with a quote, honestly, Michelle, that really pulls it back in for me as a healthcare provider. It's by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it is, the first health is wealth. Sorry, I said that wrong. The first wealth is health. And we have to remember to take care of ourselves in order to be able to take care of everybody else in our life.
So good, so true. Thank you, Dr. Bohannon. Now I've got this list of things that I know can support me and the kids. Can we get the right version of that through you and get your insight? Will you put your contact information in, and everyone who's watching will get that. Anyone who's registered will get that afterwards. But do we come to you for that, or do we go and try and find it somewhere?
Absolutely. You can come to me. I have brands that I support, that we utilize, that I know work. But you can go and do research on your own, or you're more than welcome to contact me. I'll put it in the chat. And then, like you said, at the end of all this, everybody who's registered will get all of our information.
Right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I really love, thank you. There's, the list of things we love to do each day is something that I did with my kids because I was afraid we'd forget what we enjoy doing. And now at dinner, we actually have the date and something that we accomplished throughout the day, even if it was one simple thing, because then it reminds us to accomplish something during the day so that they don't all meld together too much at any rate. And that over time we can see how much we actually have done, even though we feel like we're in a sticky quagmire a little bit. So thank you for those incredible, incredible tips. I got to tell you, at the beginning, I was asked to tell a little bit about me and what I'm going through. And as a widow, more than ever, I want my husband to help me get through this. But he's passed away, leaving me to face all of the day-to-day stuff and make all the decisions for me and the kids. And there's so much uncertainty. And Natalie Pearman is a family trauma coach. She's a widow who helps moms create a calm schedule, including adult time to give structure. And it's so valuable, especially when we've lost a partner and we are parenting alone. Natalie, how do you best support your kids right now with their schedule totally turned upside down and your new reality for some time?
Thank you for having me. So I'm calling from Canada on the West Coast. Yay, Canada. And so for us, we've actually known that our kids aren't going back to school for a couple of weeks. And we're on the lockdown for definitely into the summer here. It's a reality that we've succumbed to. I'm a widow, domestic abuse survivor, as well as a single mom. And my 3 daughters are 13, 10, and 5. So I'm in the thick of the parenting and as well working from home, self-employed. So for me, the things I wanted to share was the importance of a schedule. And I think first is that everybody just needs to let go of any expectations that you thought you had about how this was all going to play out and we're going to keep our stuff together and be totally organized. Just give that up right now, and that's okay. And if your kids stay in your pajamas all day and you too for days on end, it's totally fine as well. So for us, we created a schedule, and you need to include family time, definitely scheduling meals like someone else had said. I've actually shut the kitchen at 7 o'clock now. No one's allowed to come in and snack and create more mess. Seriously, like it just seems like the dishes just are constant, even more now. So that has helped us. We make sure we get outside every single day. We still have a couple feet of snow and it's really cold, but we still are getting outside. And if all else fails, somebody needs to go have a bath and calm down. That is another big one. So we put in work time, school time, meal times, and free time. and I don't have it by hour. So for me, my work schedule, I take the really early shift, 5 a.m. till about 9. I work, and then we do schoolwork after breakfast for a couple hours. And then I try and get some more work done. So one kid takes care of the youngest one, and we switch off. And we did it together as a group. We made it as a deal. This is what we're going to try. And a lot of times it doesn't go perfect, but we're kind of regrouping and doing it every day. And we are managing for sure. The schooling, because my kids missed a lot of school over the years with losing their dad and then leaving an awful situation with violence, my kids didn't go to school for long periods of time. And that's okay. Like, they get life experience, which is important too. So don't stress out about the schoolwork. Like, we're all in this together. It's okay. And ask your kids what they want to do. One of my kids wants to learn to sew better. So, we FaceTime grandma, and grandma's trying to teach kid how to work a sewing machine. But they're doing time together, right? And that's important. We have a puzzle going on the coffee table 24/7 that everybody plays with. And, the really important part here is that your kids want you. They want time with you. That means put your phone away, turn the TV off, do something as a family. And that is really important as well. And like everybody else had said, this too shall pass. And maybe in the end, you can be a closer family and learn some tools on how to cope and succeed together. That's all I have.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Natalie. In the chat room, people are talking, like Natalie and Angela were talking about some major life role changes that have been happening as a result of this pandemic, changes in work situation, changes in jobs, changes in income. And it was very interesting that, adjacent to that, the next comment was putting together routines in tradition and life celebrations and how important and valuable those are. And even being worried about money, you can make things happen at whatever level that you're at. At a moment's notice, I put together a scavenger hunt in the house for the kids because we just needed something. It didn't cost anything. And I know we've got spring celebrations coming up. We've got Easter, we've got Passover, and those are all about renewal and new life. And it's a reminder for us to maintain some structure and schedule in our day-to-day life, and also mark those big events. I've got a friend who's, we're counseling her on how to put together a virtual bridal shower for a friend. We've been talking with clients about how to deal with our own personal illness, getting through all of this, and the connections with our family, and how do we leave a legacy for those we leave behind, and honor the people that we've lost so we can adjust our relationship with the grief as we go through this, which of course Natalie is very, very close to heart in understanding. So how do you adjust your relationship with the grief, the stress, the tension, the uncertainties of everything that's going on, and realize, why are we holding on so tight, and what are those things that we're treasuring that we can then honor? And by creating life celebrations and holiday celebrations and all those things right here in our homes. When in your life have you faced a massive enemy like this invisible virus that is threatening each and every one in your community, work, and school? You're happy to hear from and nervous about seeing people in your neighborhood, the people you used to meet each day. Maybe you're someone in your immediate family is out helping to facilitate essential activities or providing medical food and support. Thank you. I want to just take a breath and exhale and thank everyone for doing the right things to support and expedite our ability to get through this process. Are you worried about losing your job, your income, your home, or maybe yourself, just trying to figure it all out? Sequoia Stafford is a relationship coach, and she is here to tell us about the 7 core human needs to be heard, understood, and valued.
Hi, love, and everyone here. Thank you so much. I am going to put my information in the chat just now because I really want you to be able to get a hold of me if you have an emergency relationship need to get coached to get through this with either your spouse, your children, your parents, or your boss. And what's fantastic about this entire panel is that we all are saying the same thing. And what that tells me is that we are all confirming that the way to get through anything is to do similar things. And that is going to be something I'm going to show you on my screen. So on my screen, I have the privilege of showing you, let's see, my screen, there we go. Okay, so I am calling this pandemic the Great Pause of 2020. But here's the thing, we all have needs, and the most important need that all of us human beings have is to be heard, understood, and valued. And that is something that we are all experiencing in different ways. So the way I look at how to get through this pandemic is to start every day with grounding. Walk through your day by understanding at any given moment what your 7 core human needs are and how they're playing out in all of your relationships, and end every day with gratitude. So as you can see, I use the idea of writing my own story and authoring my life by choosing how my life is going to go, by having a beginning, middle, and end to every day. Wake up every day and ground yourself. We are a representation of the tree of life. So when you get out of bed every morning, put your feet on the ground, wipe them back and forth 3 times each direction, and imagine that you are a tree and that you're sending your roots down deep into the earth. This thought alone, the image that you can put in your mind, and also doing this exercise, very similar to what Janet did at the very beginning of our class, that is a wonderful start to the day. The next thing I want to bring to your attention is the system of the energy body. And I talk about the 7 core human needs in relationship to the energy centers of the body. This is also known as the chakra system. So starting with the very first human need, and it is our root chakra, it is certainty. We are all stressed right now because we're experiencing this crisis as not knowing where we're going to go, and that certainty is a little shaky. That's why we start with grounding. So certainty is the first human need. The second human need is uncertainty, surprisingly enough, or variety or creativity. The third human need is significance or being important. The fourth human need is intimacy, love, and connection. And intimacy, love, and connection is expressed in a variety of different ways. There's physical intimacy, there's emotional intimacy, and there's sexual intimacy. Now, obviously, when you are dealing with your children, your intimacy there is making sure that they feel that you're there, that you're connecting with them regularly, even if you have stress that you're needing to deal with in your workplace, even if it's in your home office. Moving up this beautiful energy system to the fifth human need, and that's contribution. And this is part of your throat chakra, your contribution, sharing, and making a difference. That's why every single one of these panelists is here today, because we have a huge need to be a contribution and make a difference. Take advantage of this panel. Every one of us is offering opportunities to get support for you, and all you need to do is contact us. We've all written books, and we all have something that could help you in the situation that you're dealing with. The sixth core human need is growth and development. This is a need that we all have. If you're not growing, you're dying. So therefore, please take this time to keep yourself growing intellectually, spiritually, consciously, or creatively, or anything that you've always wanted to learn. Take this time to do it. Growth and development is a really important aspect of all human beings. Just like a tree, if it's not growing, it's dying. And seventh, the very, very top of our energy system is spirituality. This is where we allow spirit, God, the universe, the great creator or source to come into our bodies and inform us of the things that we need to learn. And lastly, go to sleep with gratitude. Take a moment, even if it's just 5 minutes at the end of each day, and write in a gratitude journal, or at least say a gratitude prayer. If you have children in the household, this is a great time to start the habit of going to bed with gratitude and saying thank you. Thank you is projecting out into the future that you are grateful for what you have. Oops, there's the last part. If you want to get a hold of me, my information is in the chat. I am providing a free relationship emergency call for anyone who mentions this webinar and wants to get support. Now, and lastly, I just want to say each one of us is as unique as the facets on this crystal, or this crystal, or even this crystal. Look at the person you're looking at and see if you can see the world from the facets that they see the world from. Don't assume that they see the world the way you do. Take an opportunity to really check in and see what their human needs are, and see if you can help them get that. That's all for me. I hope you all get a lot out of this panel discussion, and I look forward to helping any of you who would like to get some support. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Sequoia. What a wonderful reminder of how we actually need both certainty and uncertainty in our lives, and the reminder for gratitude for what we do have and what is here. And I mean, that's another point, that we've actually had an opportunity to spend time with our families that we may not have otherwise had. And we always think, oh, if I just had the time to, and it's like, cleaning the basement is, that is actually not the most important thing on my list still. What a surprise. But spending time with the kids really is. And it's interesting to see what actually does rise as gratitude, and what we can share, what we can do within the space that we have. And while you don't have that, and what's preventing that is the stress of everything going on. And if you're having anxiety and a panic attack, and you're wondering, if you can be patient with your spouse, let alone the kids, our biggest concern as this panel is that you don't get involved in risky or dangerous behaviors. And there are obstacles getting in the way that we could not have imagined. There's unprecedented things that we couldn't have anticipated. How do we make sure our kids are not getting involved in risky and dangerous behaviors? And I have unfortunately started to hear the bubbling up of the people who are not as resilient, or they're not listening to how they can build resilience in their lives, to make sure that they don't make decisions that could affect their lives, the children's lives, and other people's lives as well. Because sometimes people make poor choices when they're feeling out of control. I'm Michelle Hoffmann. I've been your host today. I'm a family systems and management leadership coach. I have been helping families through major life role changes, like big life events, developmental changes the kids go through, if you change communities, you've been through a major life event, change jobs, inviting loved ones in, losing loved ones, helping us all bond together as we shelter in place to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and family and friends. How do you get through this? Through the process, you can connect and learn to love each other more. I help stabilize families and work through the issues that you're facing so that you can actually enjoy what's going on, and highlighting and seeing what you treasure in that. I believe that I can make the greatest impact by training managers to be effective leaders, to manage their teams, to improve and grow revenue in their businesses. And what I'm learning is that not only do I support management leadership remotely, but that's also going back to my roots of family systems and how do you help and support them. One of the big things that we're all facing is the stress. And it's very interesting. I was working at Stanford. We were doing these studies on how understanding how your body responds to stress actually builds resilience. And that could save your life. I do have a friend whose family member just had a heart attack because they couldn't handle the stress of all of this. So we talked about when you feel the stress, what do you feel in your body? Your heart racing, your hands might get clammy, you might feel cold. And if you're aware that that's your body's response to a stress reaction, it actually changes the metabolic response, and your body will become more resilient and your cell structures begin to grow and your heart actually becomes stronger as a result of being able to anticipate this is going to be hard. And also you've got this big rush of oxytocin, which is the cuddle drug. And the cuddle drug that gets released during stressful times actually encourages you to reach out and get help. And that's what this webinar and all of us are all about. We are here to help you. So when you're feeling stressed, when there are losses, tertiary losses along the way, realize that it is time to listen to your emotions and what they are telling you, because they're telling you something important. And adjust your relationship with your deep emotions, anger, sadness, fear, to move through them and understand what they mean to you so you can best serve them. And reach out to someone on this panel to get help for you, for your children, so that you're not getting involved and you're not allowing anyone else to get involved in risky and dangerous behaviors. That's what we're here for. We're here to get through this in a safe and calm, stable way. When the kids are little, you can ask them, what do you know about what's going on? Or what are your thoughts? And you can schedule playtime with them, even if it's like 2 minutes. It's sometimes the hardest 2 minutes you could possibly spend. But when they get to take the lead, look, Megan's daughter is right there listening to this. You can schedule playtime with your mom. Good timing. So, you know, just let them take the lead and tell you what they want to do and how they want to play. And then listen to what's not being said as they're playing, because they're going to tell you what's really going on with them, not in words because they can't articulate it. But if the toys that they're playing with are having conflict, then you know the types of conflict that they're dealing with internally. As the kids get older, that's not going to work so well. You need tools like asking them, would you like me to listen, guide, or help? And then it's really hard because you have to just do the one that they pick. And if they say just listen, because sometimes they just need to be heard too, and they don't have the same routine connections or natural organic interactions that they have with their peers like we used to have at work in the workplace, to have someone hear what's going on with them. So you have to stick with listen if they say listen. And if they then realize they actually would like to understand a little bit of your value system and how you might handle it, then they'll bump it up and ask for you to guide, but it doesn't mean you get to get involved and resolve it, not until they ask for help. So how do you manage yourself remotely? And it's so imperative in the workplace to support the people who you are working with and working for, and to make sure that there's community and connection all the way through that. How are you building virtual communities amongst the people you're working with remotely in the workplace and still meeting objectives and goals so that you're achieving the revenue that the company is setting forward to preserve your job and actually be proud of the work that you're doing and contribute to our continuing economy in that way? So we're doing it at home, we're doing it at work. We don't know what to expect. Everyone on this planet has been given a life-threatening diagnosis. The incredible resources you've just been introduced to can help you. This situation is not your fault. You're part of the solution. By investing in yourself, your family, and securing your health is a way to mindfully help get through this and create the new world on the other side of COVID-19. Our guest today, I want to run through the list again. Janet Farnsworth, a body wellness coach. Inside our homes right now, we're also inside our bodies. Winn, human design coach and trainer, knowing your kids' human design so you know how to respond to each kid's needs. It's more impactful than learning the equivalent of their love language. Kathy Milburn, special needs parenting coach. As much as you feel lonely, you are not alone. Dr. Tonya Crombie, anxiety coach, teaches us how to model anxiety management for our kids. Dr. Donna Marie Cozine, the superintendent and educational leader, is helping to help all of us understand what the schools are expecting of us as parents and how to set up homeschools. Megan Day, career and life coach, comfort and calm for the working mom, setting up your home and your work and how to stay on top of your work and hold your job. Dr. Asha Pai Bohannon, holistic health guide. Why is self-care so important? Chronic inflammation of anxiety and worry, there is something you can do about it. Natalie Pearman, family trauma coach, widow help moms create calm schedule, including adult time to help give structure. Sequoia Stafford, our relationship coach, reminds us of the 7 core human needs to be heard, understood, and valued. And myself, your host for the day, Michelle Hoffmann, family systems and management leadership coach. I help families get through crisis and figure out how to communicate, trust, and respect each other more so that you can be working, so that I can go and help businesses in this uncertain economy train new managers to stabilize their teams, to meet objectives and grow revenue, to stabilize our economy on a personal level and on a professional and worldwide level. We are all here for you. I would love for you to reach out to me at yourlifeworthliving.org, yourwrthliving, did I do it? .org, and tell me, what did you think of this webinar, and would you like me to continue providing them to you with the experts that you've got available right there in your very own home? The world as we know it has ended. We will get through it, stabilize, and mindfully align with the new world. If you've registered, we've got gifts on the way to you in your email box. If you haven't, you can go ahead and register now and receive them. Together, let's look to these experts for some secrets to figure out how you're going to get through this, with the promise of more tools and resources to figure out systems and processes to reduce anxiousness and fear, create stability in your work, family, education, and love life during these uncertain times. When we say we will help you stay sane through chaos, we mean all the way through. We're all in this together. We will walk the journey with you. Connect with us now by going to the links in the follow-up email we're sending to your inbox. Thank you for sharing this time with us. We're all in this together. Thank you.